1961, GM was on top of the world. They were the largest industrial company in the world, the largest industrial company in America. They were the styling leader. The tail fin era had just ended in America, and Cadillacs and Chevrolets were the tail fin guys, and GM was leading that. They were admired for their management skills, for their succession of CEOs who all seemed to produce very good results. It was kind of the epitome of the American corporation at that time. What was good for GM was good for America was back in the 50s, but it was still true in 1961. Unfortunately, the rot at GM had already begun to set in 1961. The company had gotten so big and so successful, it didn't see the outside world any longer. It became very insular, very bureaucratic, very focused on what GM wants as opposed to what the customers want. And that was the beginning of their downfall. It took 50 years. GM has been a tough company to follow because it's got the public has a very poor opinion of it. There's never been a GM face that the public recognized, unlike Henry Ford at Ford and Walter Chrysler or Lee Iacocca at Chrysler. GM has been this big monolith of big bureaucracy. Today, it's partly owned by the federal government, partly owned by the United Auto Workers as a consequence of bankruptcy. They're smaller. Most of their growth is coming in China and Brazil and Russia and places like that. And in America, they're struggling to hang on to their market share. They're making the money in North America still in trucks and big SUVs like the Suburban. And they're fighting with Japanese companies now like Toyota and Korean companies like Hyundai. Technology is still an open question. We've got very strict CAFE and CO2 regulations coming up. Nobody really knows how to design a car that's going to meet those regulations. GM's trying a couple of different things. They tried fuel cells for a long time. They couldn't commercialize those. And they're putting a lot of money into the Volt, which is a combination. It's kind of a plug-in hybrid car, but it's not clear where that car is going either. So GM's technology leadership still has ways to come back. GM is now led by 3 guys who don't live in Detroit. They commute to Detroit on Mondays and leave on Fridays. These are guys who come from outside the company, outside Detroit. They have a world view. They can look inside a company like GM, see what needs to be fixed, see how to operate the levers, and really make a move forward. I'm very enthusiastic about the new leadership at GM. In 2020, I think GM will be a little different company than it is right now. It's just come out of bankruptcy, so it's a little shaky at the moment. They haven't got their management team fully seasoned and rotating properly. I think by 2020, there'll be a GM veteran moved up to CEO. They'll be very strong in 2 brands, Chevrolet and Cadillac, and hanging in there with Buick and GMC. They'll be very strong in China, very strong in Russia. They'll be a great global company. They may not be number 1 anymore. That'll probably be Toyota or Volkswagen, but they'll be up there, and they should be a good, solid company by then. Jobs are probably mostly moving out of the country. I mean, American manufacturing is getting more efficient all the time, and labor unions are getting less strong, so there's more emphasis on productivity and more emphasis on slimmed-down workforces. The great jobs of the old days when GM workers made $70 or $80 an hour, including benefits, those are gone forever.